Will Durant, The Story of Philosophy, The Lives and Opinions of the World's Greatest Philosophers. Embark on a profound journey through the history of Western philosophy in this summary of The Story of Philosophy, The Lives and Opinions of the World's Greatest Philosophers by Will Durant. Discover the fascinating lives, opinions, and legacies of prolific thinkers such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Francis Bacon, Spinoza, Voltaire, Immanuel Kant, Schopenhauer, and Nietzsche. Gain insights into their groundbreaking ideas, from Socrates' Socratic method to Nietzsche's Superman, which have shaped modern thought. This summary delves into the lessons we can learn from these great minds and their divergent views on morality, religion, politics, and human nature.
The evolution of Western philosophy. The story of Western philosophy began in ancient Greece, where thinkers were mostly concerned with questioning the nature of the physical world. However, Socrates changed the course of philosophy by focusing on moral and psychological questions. Socrates developed the Socratic method, which is still widely practiced today, and he believed that a state run by intelligent individuals would save Athens. Sadly, these beliefs led to his death. Plato, his famous pupil, followed in his footsteps by proposing a utopian political regime ruled by philosopher kings in his best-known work, The Republic. Plato rejected both democracy and aristocracy, arguing that the former was too unrestricted and that the latter was corrupted by greed and luxury. Instead, he believed in a democratic aristocracy run by a small class of philosopher kings who are identified and trained based on talent and intelligence. Aristotle, founder of logic and biology. Aristotle, one of Plato's pupils, was called upon by King Philip of Macedon to tutor Alexander the Great. After returning to Athens, he established the Lyceum, specializing in biology and natural sciences. His written works, including up to 1,000 volumes, classify as logical, scientific, aesthetic, and philosophical, showing a stylistic unity that suggests his partial authorship. Aristotle's greatest accomplishment was founding the new science of logic, which he experimented with syllogisms, logical arguments based on two true propositions. On the other hand, he failed to observe evolution, unlike previous philosopher Empedocles. Nonetheless, Aristotle advanced biology more than any other Greek thinker and made early discoveries such as classifying birds and reptiles' structural similarity and discovering humans' mammal group ancestry. Francis Bacon, the revolutionary philosopher and politician. Francis Bacon, born in London in 1561, rejected scholasticism, the traditional medieval philosophy of the Catholic Church. Bacon became a politician and dedicated himself to reconstructing philosophy. He used inductive reasoning to lay the foundation for the scientific method in his book Novum Organum. His contributions to advancing human knowledge included inventing the science of social psychology and arguing that friends are a means to power. Bacon's reinterpretation of methods for natural philosophy from scholasticism to pragmatism set the tone for modern science and inspired many of the greatest thinkers of the Age of Enlightenment. Spinoza and his unorthodox philosophy. Baruch Spinoza was an Amsterdam-born Jew with a profound philosophical inclination and interest in religion. He broke with the Jewish community and authored several written works on thought, religion, and state. In his treatise on religion and the state, Spinoza asserted that an allegorical interpretation of religious texts is in keeping with reason. In his pivotal work, Ethics, Spinoza challenges ordinary human conceptions by debunking the relevance of our perceptions of good and evil when compared to God's greater order of the universe. Spinoza maintained that there is no difference between the mind and body, and that desire propels our actions and thoughts because our instincts relate to our desires. Voltaire, From Prisoner to Philosopher. Voltaire's life shaped by criticism, imprisonment, and transformative journey. François-Marie Arouet was born in Paris in 1694 but adopted the pen name Voltaire after being arrested and imprisoned over poems critical of the regent. His life's work included plays, novels, poems, histories, essays, and scientific expositions, which left a profound impact on the French Enlightenment. During his imprisonment at the Bastille, Voltaire gained an appreciation for political liberty while in England. There, he studied Bacon, Locke, Hobbes, and other philosophers and, upon his return to France, criticized France's tyranny as laid out in Letters on the English. When a publisher released Letters on the English without his permission, Voltaire escaped to Switzerland and started to challenge religious and metaphysical orthodoxy. He gained fame and received visits from skeptical priests, enlightened rulers, and liberal aristocrats. His focus later shifted to the Church's tyranny in France, following an earthquake in Lisbon that killed 30,000 people, as he penned his magnum opus, Candide, to critique medieval theology. Voltaire's life was marked by imprisonment, criticism, and a journey of transformation. He instigated change by emphasizing the need for political and religious reform, which laid the groundwork for the French Revolution. Voltaire left behind a legacy as a critical thinker who used his pen to fight against oppression and corruption, ultimately shaping the course of history. Kant's metaphysical system. Immanuel Kant's life and groundbreaking work, The Critique of Pure Reason, are explored. Departing from English philosophers, Kant argued that the mind is not a passive wax molded by sense and experience. Instead, he claimed, the mind is an organ which directs and transforms sensations into knowledge. According to Kant, there is such a thing as a priori knowledge, or knowledge that we have independently from experience. Despite the fact that Kant believed morality to be a fundamental truth, his denial of rational theology caused an uproar in German orthodoxy. Schopenhauer's pessimistic philosophical legacy. Arthur Schopenhauer was an influential pessimistic philosopher born in Danzig, Poland in the late 18th century. He is known for his extreme arrogance and disdain for his mother. Schopenhauer argued that the universe has no divine order and our bodies are a manifestation of the will to live, which drives mankind. He believed that life is evil because its basic stimulus is pain, and even if we were to attain a utopia, the boredom that followed would be intolerable. Despite his pessimistic outlook, Schopenhauer held on to the belief that his work would become a pivotal piece of philosophy, and he was right. By his 70th birthday, his philosophy had spread worldwide, solidifying his legacy. Nietzsche's philosophy unveiled. Explore Nietzsche's philosophy of Superman and master morality. Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher born in Prussia in 1844. His early life was dominated by religious fervor, reading the Bible, and avoiding mischievous boys. However, at the age of 18, his faith in God dissolved, leading to his lifelong attempt to cultivate an idealized masculinity within himself. His encounter with Schopenhauer's world as will and idea during his university life ushered him into a lifelong odyssey in philosophical search. Nietzsche went to the front line during the war between Germany and France in 1870, which had a profound impact on his development. He later claimed that the experience inspired the vision upon which his entire philosophy was based. That will to life finds expression in the will to war, power, and conquer, contrary to Schopenhauer's views, which estimated that the will to life finds expression in the miserable struggle to exist. His idea of the Superman, a new kind of God, and a new set of values is embodied in his poem, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Nietzsche's philosophy shuns Christianity entirely, and instead, he believes that morality favors strength over kindness. Manhood, enterprise, courage, and bravery are the best characteristics of man, according to the philosopher. Anything that increases man's power is termed as good, while bad is regarded as anything derived from weakness. For Nietzsche, the development of humanity is through the development of stronger individuals, not society's overall progress. The philosopher champions the morality of the master, which favors strength over altruism, favoring strength of will, power, and permanence of passion. Nietzsche idealizes that philosopher-statesmen should rule the ideal society, just like Plato's guardians during Greek antiquity. In conclusion, Nietzsche's philosophy of the Superman revolutionized the meaning of morality and its representation. His philosopher-statesman and master morality views continue to inspire modern ideals of masculinity, strength, and manhood while challenging the traditional views of society and moral philosophy.
As we put down the summary of the story of philosophy, it's impossible not to be inspired by the great thinkers who have paved the way for our understanding of the world today. From ancient Greek philosophy to the Age of Enlightenment and beyond, each philosopher brought forth a unique perspective on politics, ethics, religion, and humanity. Their extraordinary ideas have not only endured through the centuries but have inspired countless generations of future philosophers and thinkers. As we witness the evolution of thought, we can appreciate the wisdom of these philosophers' teachings and take stock of the impact they have had on societal progress. Let this be a tribute to their enduring brilliance and the unparalleled legacy they left behind.